So my brother showed me a video of my father. Obviously, my brothers and sisters, when I say brothers and sisters, I mean Ghanaians. And when I say my father, obviously it means His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I love that man so much. They showed me a video of him making a speech at this just concluded UN meeting, right? And it really got me emotional. It really got me emotional. And I'll tell, a number of people might express shock on why such a thing will get me emotional. Obviously, I'll tell you people, and I'll use that opportunity to draw out certain points that can teach us a number of things. And if you're Nigerian, I would implore you to listen. If you still want to use your brain for something reasonable, you understand the situation. That's one of those things. Now, I need to say this first. The thing about His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is that he gives me the exact feeling that my father gives to me. Even when Ghanaians send such videos to me, they said, oh, take a good video of your father. Your father is doing it again. They know. My brothers, they know. Obviously, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a Ghanaian by thought. I'm a Ghanaian by spirit. I'm a Ghanaian because we share the same level of mindset. The civil mindset. The mindset of integrity. Putting integrity, honor, and dignity as priority. That is Ghana for you. Not putting money or what you can benefit as priority. Nigerians won't understand. Nigerians will think it's AI. They will simply say, would integrity give you food? Because you know their problem is their stomach. And a man who depends on his stomach can sell his birthright. That's why, am I saying can sell his birthright? That's why Nigerians sold their birthrights and inevitably created a system where they can always produce leaders that would victimize them because they've sold their birthright. The reason is because of their stomach, what they will eat. Going extra mile to make that extra cities because of their mouth. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of God, which is knowledge. Ghanaians take subscription and priority to knowledge. That's why you tell a Nigeria between first class and $1 million. If Nigeria, of course, 1 million, you won't even let the question drop. 1 million for what? Primitivity. Eat, build, eat, sleep with women, finish, repeat. Nothing more. But a Ghanaian will tell you first class. Brain, once you have wisdom. A people is destroyed. A people are destroyed for lack of what? Knowledge. Not because of poverty or brokenness. That's why we're destroyed. Anyways, on that note, I saw the video, I watched it, and I got emotional, just like I stated. And now, some of the things I have to point out are like this. Now, number one is the eloquence and the ability to masterfully grasp his expressive ability. Or the eloquence and his ability to masterfully make an expression or render a masterful expression by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is one of the things that gives me joy about him. It gives me so much joy. Wait, this video is going to be long, so hear me out, please. It gives me so much joy. And a number of people might not understand. A number of people might be asking, why is it that this guy likes the eloquence of the president? Why is it? Now, that's exactly what I was nurtured with. That's number one. Two, my father and eloquence. He was the Oracle English orator. So he said, of course, he was an English lecturer. But I know a lot of English lecturers in Nigeria that cannot truly, boast of such a thing. As a matter of fact, throughout the history of Nigerian presidency, there is no Nigerian president that has this level of, grasp in eloquence or this fluency in English language like Dramani Mahama. In the history of Nigerian presidency, none of them got half of his fluency ability. None at all. Now, I'll tell you why. None of them has half of his fluency. And as a matter of fact, did you see that he never needed a paper to talk? He never needed a paper to talk. That is the level of that's the extent of his intelligence. A man that represents the value of Ghana, and now he's representing the value and the identity of the whole of Africa. This man just made us proud. In fact, as Nigerians, on behalf of Nigeria, I want to say thank you so much to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for representing the whole of Africa so well. I'm telling you the truth. You will never see this with any other Nigerian authority, whether president or whether governor. None of them. And do you know why? Because of the Nigerian inherent criminality, their criminal mentality. Now, what do I mean? I've told people this time without number. English may not be a test of intelligence, but English is a test of a civilized mind, a test of an honorable mind. It means a mind that is not filled with criminality. English has a way to reckon itself with such mind. Why? Because the English language, as many people think, unlike many people think actually, is not a language that belongs to British people. And English language is a language that clearly identifies with a mind that is civil. It is a civilized language. It's a verbal representation of a civilized mindset. That's why you notice that 80% of Nigerians don't have fluency in English language. That's why most of the time they resort to pidgin English. Criminality. I don't have to say this too much. A number of you know the etymology of pidgin English and as to why it's called substandard English. In script writing, you use pidgin English in situations where you're writing the character of either a criminal, an armed robber, or a prostitute. You use pidgin English. Other parts, you use real English. Now it tells you why Nigerians mostly resort to pidgin English. That's the thing. So you see that John Dramani Mahama made us proud. Look at his fluency. Look at that fluency. And that shows you the identity of Ghana as a people. I'm telling you the truth. Secondly, he stated something, and I'll put out something out there that he actually said. He said something like that the European countries should understand that Africans are not invaders and criminals. They are not invaders and they are not criminals. And I said something while I heard this. I said, while this can be accorded to many African countries, as a Nigerian, tell yourself the truth. Can this same thing be accorded to you? Can this same thing be accorded to us? John Dramani has spoken for the whole of Africans. But can this same thing be said for Nigerians? Because we all know that Nigerians are embodiments of criminality. So this thing that was said by John Dramani Mahama, as to exonerating Africans from the nature of invading a society and exhibiting criminality, this same thing cannot be said about Nigerians. So I'll tell you the truth, it cannot be said about Nigerians. So, and that's why I always tell people, when we talk about Africa, count Nigerians off. The new dimension that most African countries want to take recently, nowadays, Nigerians can't fit in. The new dimension at which African countries want to take right now, Nigerians can't fit in. They can't just let go of their criminality just like that. They can't do that. That's Nigerians for you. I'm telling you the truth. That's number two. Then number three, listen to me very carefully. John Dramani Mahama spoke about our natural resources and the need for the European countries to actually allow us utilize our natural resources. Underline the word utilize our natural resources, and not cases as to when they come and exploit our natural resources and probably give us certain level of, I don't know what to call that, certain level of feedback or certain level of gift or something like that as a form of respect. They give us a small measure. I think the right word is a small measure of our own resources. He said utilize, allow. But my question is, do you think it is better? Do you think it is better in Nigeria? I'm speaking for Nigeria right now because I know that, of course, look at the president of Ghana. When their resources are allowed for them, or when they are allowed their own resources, they definitely will make the best use of it. Would the same thing be said about Nigerians? Because the truth is that Nigerians as poor masses, the poor masses in Nigeria would prefer that Europeans, cut away with our resources. Because in such notes, not only do they use that to produce something or initiate something that in one way or the other would extend to the world, and in such notes extend to these poor Nigerians. But if these resources are allowed Nigerian authorities or the people that manage the helm of Nigerian affairs, obviously it can never ever benefit Nigerians as a people. So I'll tell you the truth. The truth is that it is actually better in our own case. I'm not speaking for Ghana, I'm not speaking for South Africa. In our own case, owing to the criminality, the criminal system that we built, it's better Europeans continue with what they are doing as when it comes to exploiting our resources, because it is more beneficial to the masses than when the people in our helm of affairs, than when our presidency, than when the people in authority, so said, tend to manage our resources. The situation is that, putting it very simply, is that Nigerians don't have managerial abilities. They don't have the ability to manage things. Because the evidence of a good managerial ability is that it begins to uplift the nation begins to develop, a lot of hardship and poverty is become alleviated. But you can't say the same thing in Nigeria. You cannot. So for Nigeria, I would in fact, the truth is that Nigeria as it stands right now doesn't deserve to be independent. We the right ones, the right people in Nigeria, truthfully, I'm the one saying it. A number of people have it at the back of their mind. We are thoroughly praying for Europeans to invade and recolonize us. It's a lot better. Tell me anything working in Nigeria that was not owed to the Union Jack, that was not owed to the system that was built by our colonial masters. Outside the cities that were created by our colonial masters, show me any other city that Nigerians have created since their independence. So no, pas possible. Now let me conclude with this. The fourth point is, this is something I need Nigerians to understand and emulate from this wonderful, beautiful father of mine called His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Did you see the way he diplomatically and strategically presented the point, presented the plea of Africans, such that, listen, such that the Europeans would see the advantage in their allowing us as Africans to utilize our resources and to creating a relationship with us, even in their places, on grounds that they should remember that it is owed to our ability that we were used as tools in creating the developments that they enjoy today. Yes, the truth is that it was their mind, and the mind is everything, but we still have the ability and a role to play in their development, which we can always play. If you can imagine, if such a thing was initiated or implemented while we were in the realm of victimization, you can imagine what happens if we are integrated with, or if we are allowed to integrate with them, and everyone becomes, one. A lot of things can be achieved. That is the way John Dramani presented this, and there is nobody that would not allow this, even a person with the heart of the devil. Simple.